Stonewall Riots, June 27th, 1969. Right before midnight on June 27th of 1969, the city of New York conducted a raid at the Stonewall Inn located in Greenwich Village. The order to raid was reported to have been dictated by a mayor who was running for re-election. Part of his re-election campaign was to crack down on gay establishments. It was a common practice for police to raid known gay establishments. The Stonewall Inn. The predominantly black and Hispanic patrons that frequented the Stonewall Inn back in '69 surprised police by fighting back that night. Word of the resistance spread and a three-night riot followed. American social workers are reported to have been organizing and mobilizing communities against oppression since the times of the Civil War. With that being said, it was surprising for me to learn that social workers had nothing to do or nor did they support the gay rights movement in America. Even against those odds and without the guidance of the social work field, the gay community was able to organize and successfully resist against discrimination. Like many other times in American history, it seems that after many years of oppression, anger eventually surfaced and put in motion what the gay rights movement is today. Sylvia Rivera, a veteran of the Stonewall Riots, reported that many of the participants, including herself and many of her transgender comrades, were actively involved in other movements of the time. Furthermore, Rivera reported that anger had been a justified and motivating fuel for the commitment to impact change for her community. Rivera, 2007, page 120. The era was one of movement and a push for social change. Rivera's anger at the injustices she witnessed committed against her community, and her love for that community fueled her passion and commitment to be a frontline activist. Regarding key leaders, Poindexter, 1997, stated, "These writers were not charismatic community leaders, nor was there a single identifiable leader of the Stonewall Uprising or of the modern gay rights movement." Page 610. Although no obvious key leaders were initially involved in the instigation of the Stonewall riots, leaders were born. People like Rivera, a Stonewall veteran, and a transgender activist are definitely leaders for the trans community. Rivera took to the front lines of street activism and was even arrested as a result of her commitment. Rivera, 2007, page 120. Tactics used to fight oppression. Tactics used to fight against oppression were civil protests and disobedience in the face of oppression. Also, the initiation of the gay rights movement and its growth was influenced and aided by the fact that, although not seen, there existed a very tangible and unified gay community. A community that had been well aware of their oppressions and one that for many years had gathered regularly to discuss such matters. Poindexter, 1997, assured, "Without this structure and indigenous base, the violence at the Stonewall Inn would have been a little noticed, isolated event." Page 611. Indigenous roots established a source of pride and solidarity for the LGBTQ community. A major challenge faced by the American GLBT population of 1969 was that society in those times was less accepting and less educated than in contemporary times. Take, for example, the fact that up until the 70s, homophobia was so rampant that homosexuality was actually accepted to be a psychiatric disorder. Blumenfeld, 1992, page 21. Heterosexual cisgender people were reported to be supporters and active participants in the Stonewall Riots. Rivera, 2007, stated, "But we also have to remember one thing, that it was not just the gay community and the street queens that really escalated this riot. It was also the help of the many radical straight men and women that lived in the village at the time, that knew the struggle of the gay community and the trans community." White supremacy is challenged by LGBTQ social movements or any movements that oppose the established norm. Capitalism all around the world depends on the exploitation of labor to ultimately benefit white power. Gotthill 2005 stated, "Every oppression that is in place exists to ultimately support white male power, and the United States is the clear leader and greatest benefactor of this system." Page 3. A system that is based on greed and designed only to benefit young, Christian, heterosexual, wealthy white males depends on the division caused by the isms. Any collaboration of or organization of social action groups that challenge the established norm successively challenge the institution of white power. The system maintains its power and social control by means of sanctioning violence and strict criminal punishment for individuals or groups who try to oppose the norm. Gotthill, 2005, page 6. In conclusion, learning about the Stonewall Riots was inspirational. I was inspired by the spirit of the Stonewallian painters of that night back in June of '69. Although the odds were stacked against them, they were courageous and their actions instigated a movement that still affects in the pride that still affects pride in the heart of any social activist. Thank you.